I think it's getting out of control now. Another thing I think is that David Moyes has to start Kurt Zouma against Leicester City on Sunday. Now, when it all came out on Monday night, I didn't really have too much of an opinion. That's why I never did a video on Tuesday. I didn't really have an opinion about it. So Monday night, Tuesday, I was trying to read social media, gauge what everybody was thinking as well. And it was hard to do that because there was such a variation of opinions as to what the punishment for Kurt Zouma would be. If I usually ask a question like, should Pablo Fornal start on against Leicester on Sunday, you're going to say yes or no, A or B. It's easy to sort of work out what people are thinking. But with this, there was some people saying, fine him and move on. At the other end of the scale, we had people saying, rip up his contract. Never want to see him play for West Ham United again. Sack him. And there was everything in between as well. And this is where I didn't have an opinion. Well, I say that. I obviously had an opinion on what Kurt Zouma had done. But sometimes in life, I think it's just fair to assume things. And I think one thing it's fair to assume is that everybody is against animal cruelty and was angry and disgusted at what Kurt Zouma had done. But in regards to the actual punishment itself for Kurt, I didn't know. I didn't know what I wanted to see. I wasn't sure what the barometer was for this type of thing. One thing I was sure about was that he needed to be punished, but also I didn't want to see him start against Watford. I felt it was too soon. Less than 24 hours after the news article came out, West Ham were going to kick off against Watford on Tuesday evening. I just thought, too soon. Just get him out of the team, let it blow over, I guess. Let it die down a little bit. Work out your punishment for Kurt Zouma behind the scenes. Let the RSPCA do their thing as well. And then gauge it. Come today, Friday, gauge what's happening as to whether he plays against Leicester City on Sunday or not. I didn't think he should have started, but he did. Now I think David Moyes has to stick to that. I think he absolutely has to start against Leicester on Sunday. While I disagreed with what Moyes starting him, I will also disagree Moyes does not start him on Sunday because he's made a decision now, David Moyes. He's made a decision. Now whether you agree with it or not isn't really my point here, because I didn't agree with it, but I think he has to stick with what he's decided. Moyes showed bollocks on Tuesday starting him. He really, really did. I was surprised he did, to be honest with you, but he started him. He showed bollocks. He has to now show a spine and stick to his decision. He said it's a footballing decision and that will sort of be the reason that he picks his team. Moyes insinuated, I will pick my team based on footballing reasons. What Kurt's done is almost like a club matter. It's for the club to deal with, not me picking the team. Fine, then let's see that on Sunday afternoon. Because if David Moyes now doesn't play him, there's one or two reasons I think that he's possibly taking him out of the team. First of all, it's peer pressure from the public. And this is where I think it is getting out of control a little bit. And I think there's now a witch hunt, if you like, from the media towards Kurt Zouma. Now, some people will say it's deserved. It is. He does deserve the pressure on him and stuff. But I do think it's now gone beyond Kurt Zouma. The Daily Mail today are running an article about how the players are unhappy with Kurt Zouma's wages. Obviously, Kurt Zouma's been fined a maximum 2 weeks' wages, which equates to £250,000. And then the Daily Mail are suggesting that has now meant that the rest of the team have discovered how much Kurt Zouma has been paid at West Ham, and they're unhappy about it, that they're also key members of the team, and they're unhappy that Kurt Zouma's paid a lot more. Well, that's just rubbish. That's ridiculous, because the Daily Mail, in the summer, when we signed Kurt Zouma, the Daily Mail, the same journalist that wrote the article today, wrote the article in the summer saying that Kurt Zouma is going to be on 125 grand a week. It's no surprise. As a West Ham fan, when it came out he was fined 2 weeks' wages, which was 250,000, there was no surprise. Yeah, he's on 125 grand a week. We know that. So what they're trying to do now, they're trying to disrupt the change room. They're almost trying to isolate Kurt Zouma from the rest of the team. Sky did it yesterday as well. Sky Sport reporter was outside the training ground trying to capture anything from any of his teammates, trying to put them under pressure, get them to speak out about Kurt Zouma. Michail Antonio did rock up, and I thought what Antonio said was fantastic. I loved hearing what Michail Antonio had said about it all as well. And I think it's just got a bit out of control now. Does he deserve to be punished? Yes. But it's being dealt with. The cats are now in safety. The RSPCA have taken the cats out of his home. That's the main priority, surely. But it doesn't really feel like that's the main priority. It feels like the main priority is Kurt Zouma being punished and punished and punished and punished until what end? I don't know what the end goal is and what would make the media satisfied with Kurt Zouma's punishment. The club, to some extent, will feel that they've done all they can. They fined him 2 weeks' wages. That's the maximum they're allowed to fine him. Now, I have seen sort of questions being raised as to why it's such a large amount in comparison to punishments handed out for other crimes. And just to be clear, I'm not saying that those punishments are adequate. I don't think they are. But I don't think this is something you can use to compare it. It was 2 weeks' wages he was fined. He wasn't fined £250,000. He was fined 2 weeks' wages, which happens to be £250,000. If Kurt Zouma was paid £5,000 a week, his fine would have been £10,000 a week. So I'm seeing this now used as sort of a trigger to discuss other punishments, and that's not a bad conversation to have about how lenient some other punishments are, but I'm not sure that this should be used as a barometer, as a comparison. I hope this is making sense. It's a difficult topic to discuss, I guess, but it's one that I wanted to discuss. I'm not going to sit here and say I don't want to talk about it, I didn't want to do this video, because I didn't have to talk about it. I don't have to do that video. But the reason I am is because, well, A, I think Moyes has to start him on Sunday, and I strongly feel that. And B, I just think it's getting out of control now. And I know this is going to be such an extreme example, but we lost Caroline Flack not too long ago because of sort of all the abuse she received through mainstream media and stuff, because she had done wrong. Then there was a pile-on, and then she ended up taking her own life. It was tragic. But here we are again. There's now this massive pile-on for Kurt Zouma, and I just think it's getting a little bit out of control. Now, the reasons why David Moyes may drop him is A, peer pressure from the Joe public, pundits as well, celebrities, if you like, are all piling on in this and putting pressure on West Ham. And there's just as much anger towards David Moyes as there has been towards Kurt Zouma, I feel. When I've been reading social media and stuff, there was a wave of anger towards Kurt Zouma on Monday night going through to Tuesday, and rightly so. Okay, rightly so. I can understand. I was angry, you were angry, we were all angry. But there seems to have been this second wave of anger, which is now directed towards David Moyes selecting Kurt Zouma to play against Watford. Now, like I said, while I thought it was the wrong thing to do by Moyes, and there was a little bit of being disappointed, I guess, in selecting Kurt Zouma, but I certainly wasn't angry. Maybe it's because I'm a West Ham fan and we won the game and Kurt Zouma had a good game, and that sort of made me a bit more lenient towards it. I'm not too sure, but I certainly didn't feel that anger because I could understand David Moyes' decisions for selecting him. Like I said, I don't agree with it, but you don't have to agree with something in order to understand it. So I could understand why Moyes included him, just didn't agree with it. But going on from this, West Ham United have obviously lost sponsor. Now, what I will say, Adidas has dismissed Kurt Zouma. They've ended their sponsorship with Kurt Zouma. I get it. I get why they've done it. Again, I sort of half don't get it, because this is a company that makes football boots by killing animals. They kill animals in order to make football boots, but they've now dismissed Kurt Zouma for cruelty to animals. So it doesn't really add up. But like I said, I get it. I get why Adidas have ended their relationship with Kurt Zouma. So fine, done. But what I struggle to deal with, I guess, is the club sponsors ending their sponsorship with West Ham United. Kiss Me was the first one to go. They sort of Tuesday night said, we're investigating this, we're disappointed, Kurt Zouma played, we're investigating it. And then Wednesday night they said, right, we're done, the sponsorship with West Ham has ended. But Kiss Me promotes SeaWorld, and I just don't think you can do both. I don't think you can take a stance against animal cruelty because of what Kurt Zouma's done, but on the other hand, promote and continue to promote SeaWorld. It just doesn't add up, really. You are making money off animal cruelty, but then you're getting rid of a sponsorship with West Ham because of animal cruelty. Now, while I think most people will sort of understand what I'm saying here, what it does do, though, is it puts pressure on West Ham United, because Vitality have also suspended their sponsorship with West Ham, as has one other sponsor, I believe. But here, I'm not going to get into Vitality, but all you have to do is look at who else they sponsor and think, well, hang on a minute, this doesn't really add up. But what it does do is it puts pressure on West Ham United to some extent, because when on Tuesday I felt that Kurt Zouma had, and rightly, been judged for his actions, but I felt from sort of Tuesday onwards, if you like, going into the game against Watford, West Ham were going to be judged for what they were away to do. Right, Kurt Zouma's done wrong. How are you going to deal with it, West Ham United? Everyone was sat there waiting to judge what West Ham done. We played Kurt Zouma, and that was the wrong answer for a lot of people. A lot of people were unhappy with it, angry with it, and now we're seeing the dominoes fall, aren't we? We've seen Kurt Zouma start, and now the sponsors are going, and there's a lot of anger created amongst it all. So now we're seeing West Ham being judged as well. And like I said, they've fined him 2 weeks' wages. I believe he's getting sent on an animal welfare course. While I think it's maybe a little bit virtue signalling from the club, and it's a little bit of, we just have to do this, and does it really matter? Does it really make a difference? If you were to go on you got caught speeding, you went on a speed awareness course, did it stop you speeding in future? I'm not 100% sure that is what it does. It might do, it might help educate him, I'm not too sure. But I'd rather he just didn't have animals in future, rather than gets educated then has animals in future. I'd just rather Kurt Zouma was no longer giving responsibility for having any form of animals in the future. The priority though is the cats are safe. They've been taken away from the RSPCA, so things have been done. The RSPCA are still undergoing their investigation, and then I think West Ham are waiting to hear what they say before they decide if they're going to take any further action with Kurt Zouma. And I think the club, while on Tuesday I didn't know what I wanted in form of punishment towards Kurt Zouma, I think the club have actually done all they can here, which is assuming they're going to keep playing him. Like I said, I wouldn't have played him, and we'll get on to the other example in just a second, but they've found him as much as they can. They send him on the course. They're waiting to see what the RSPCA's investigation says. They're working with the RSPCA. They're cooperating with them. Kurt Zouma's cooperating with them as well. So I think they're doing all they can to some extent. Now the extent stops because we played him on Tuesday, and this is the other thing. Dagenham is where Kurt Zouma's brother plays. Yon, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, Yoan. He was the one that filmed it. Kurt Zouma's brother filmed it. He actually plays football for Dagenham and Redbridge. Now, he has been suspended. Yesterday, Dagenham announced that he was suspended. He will not feature. Well, they didn't say suspended. They just said he won't play for Dagenham until they've received the outcome of the investigation from the RSPCA. Now, while I actually think that's probably the route West Ham should have went down, I think on Tuesday that's what West Ham United should have announced, but I only know that with hindsight because I was uncomfortable with him playing Tuesday. That is probably the route we should have went down. So no, we're not going to play him until this has come to a conclusion with the investigation. And that, I think, puts more pressure on West Ham. That's another thing that's going to put more pressure on David Moyes. Moyes will have his press conference later today ahead of Sunday's game. He will get asked about Kurt Zouma, and I wouldn't be surprised one of the questions was, Dagenham have suspended his brother, why have you not done the same with Kurt Zouma? And this might be unpopular. It's easier. It's easier to suspend a player that's only played 6 games for them this season. He's not an important member of their team. And I think this is where I am a little bit, while I've said West Ham have done everything with Kurt Zouma, there is a bit of me that's a little bit cynical here, and I've always been a cynical bugger. Had it not been Kurt Zouma, had it been another player that perhaps isn't in favour at West Ham in terms of team selection, and I'm just going to use a name because everyone's thinking it, Andrei Yarmolenko. If Andrei Yarmolenko had done what Kurt Zouma had done, would he still be at West Ham? Hand on heart, I'm not sure. I'm not sure West Ham would have taken the same actions towards a player that isn't as important as Kurt Zouma is to the first team. And I think that's where it goes wrong for me, because that shouldn't be the case. That should not be the case. It might not be the case. West Ham may have dealt with Andrei Yarmolenko the exact same way they've dealt with Kurt Zouma. But hand on heart, I'm not sure I can say that. And this is where football's a horrible industry. It's a horrible, horrible industry. You know, we're fortunate to have spoken to people involved predominantly with West Ham United and stuff, and you'll hear stories and they tell us stuff that's happened at West Ham when they were there and stuff, and it just reminds me, it's not a nice industry to be in. It's ruthless, it's cutthroat, and it's driven by money. Football is driven by money now. It shouldn't be the case, but it is. Football has been driven by money for a long, long time, and I think this is an example of it, because Kurt Zouma is worth 25-30 million pounds. He's a 25-30 million pound asset to the club because he is on such big wages, because he is an important player for David Moyes. It would have been easy for Moyes to leave Andrei Yarmolenko out the squad on Tuesday. It's not so easy to leave Kurt Zouma out. But looking ahead to Sunday, like I said, the 2 reasons he may drop him. One is peer pressure from the public, which is obviously happening. And I include Kurt Zouma's brother being suspended in that as well. And the second one is the sponsors dropping from West Ham United. On Tuesday, the board would have made a decision, which is let Moyes decide. Let David Moyes, the manager, decide how he's going to manage Kurt Zouma. Let him decide if he's picking him tonight against Watford. That can't change. I think you either back your manager, which they did on Tuesday, and they have to do it the whole way now. They have to keep backing David Moyes. So you do what you want on Sunday, and we'll stick up for you, we'll defend you. They need to be united. Moyes and his employers need to be united on this. And Moyes clearly wants to play him. The board have to back him. The board are under pressure. Make no mistake, the board are under pressure here. We know David Sullivan has his friends in the media. He will be getting phone calls and emails left, right and centre about this crime that Kurt Zouma has committed. He'll be getting pressure from journalists wanting quotes and stuff. The sponsors will be ringing him up as well, putting pressure on. And Karen Brady will probably be the one dealing with the sponsors. She'll be under pressure. Kissimmy's ended it. Vitality has suspended it. One other has suspended their sponsorship. That's not good from a club standpoint. I believe Vitality is worth $500,000 a year to West Ham. Kissimmee will be greater than that. So let's just say $1.5 million in total sponsorship at the minute is up in the air for West Ham. It's a lot of money. It is a lot of money. There's going to be pressures there. I just don't want to see the board now getting involved and saying, well, you can't play Kurt Zouma. We are going over your head, Dave. We're taking him out. You can't play him. Crack on with it. Because if they were going to do that, they had to do it on Tuesday. Part of me wishes they had, because it would just be a lot easier now. He wouldn't have played Tuesday night. We wouldn't have had this second wave of anger. But part of me is glad they actually said to David Moyes, you pick. You pick. Because for years we've said that the manager should be the one in charge of the team. The manager should have as much control as possible at the football club. Now, whether this falls within that parameters will differ from fan to fan. But you let him decide on Tuesday. You have to continue to let him decide on Sunday. Now, Kurt Zouma will get booed wherever he goes for the rest of the season. Every away ground between now and the season finishing in May, Kurt Zouma will get booed every time he touches the ball. He deserves it. He deserves that. He does. Part of me wonders if that's why Moyes played him, because Moyes is a very old school manager. We know that through his methods, whether it's his training, whether it's his setup in the background using his pen and paper on the wall rather than computers and stuff. He's an old school manager, and I think this is a small example, or a big example, that you see it from Moyes, that this is an old school method of dealing with Kurt Zouma. Would a younger manager, say Frank Lampard, who played football in a different generation to David Moyes, would he have dealt with this the same way? I'm not 100% sure. I think Lampard may have removed him from the spotlight, if you like, but Moyes has stuck him out there and said, no, you go out there, you face the music, you face the crowd, you are going to get booed, but you're just going to have to get through it. Simple as that. Anyway, crikey, 18 minutes, apologies. So basically, to summarise, I think Moyes made a decision on Tuesday. I didn't agree with it, but Moyes did what he thought was right for the team, and I think he should stick with it on Sunday. And I think this is just getting a little bit out of control now, all this media frenzy around it, if you like. Some of the comparisons being made and stuff, I don't think there's correlation between the two, and I understand why people are perhaps angry or disappointed in the severity of the punishment for other crimes, and they're using this as an example as why. I get that, but I'm not really sure it's fair, if you like. I don't think it's fair to be rocking up outside West Ham's training ground, sticking a camera in Mikel Antonio's face. I don't think the article the Daily Mail have done today is fair. They're trying to divide the changing room. They're trying to isolate Kurt Zouma and cause problems, if you like. And make no mistake, at the start of the video, I said we can assume some things in life. One thing I think it's fair to assume is there'll be a lot of people at that club pissed off with what Kurt Zouma's done. I think 99% will be angry and disgusted with what Kurt Zouma has done. I imagine in the changing room it possibly might have been a bit icy. They might not have known what to say to him or anything like that. I don't know. We don't know. We are not privy to that information. Thankfully, I don't want to be privy to that information. But there will be his teammates will not be happy with what he's done. Make no doubt about it. But the difference is, I guess, between me, you, the journalist from the Daily Mail, and Mark Noble. Mark Noble knows Kurt Zouma. He will know Kurt Zouma. And sometimes that's important. Sometimes. Not in every case. But sometimes it is. But anyway, I'm going to disappear now. That's my thoughts on the Kurt Zouma thing. I just wanted to do it. I guess it turned into a mini rant because I didn't really have, like I said, I didn't really have an opinion on Tuesday because I didn't know what level of punishment I wanted for Kurt Zouma. To some extent, I still don't know, but I think what I can do is, with the benefit of hindsight over the last few days, is judge what West Ham United have done, and I think they're dealing with it. I think they've done as much as they can as a club, as a manager. Like I said, I wouldn't have played him Tuesday, but I get it. I understand why Moyes has done it. He just has to stick to his guns now. He showed bollocks on Tuesday. He's got to show a spine on Sunday and play him then, and basically say, I'm not listening to what the public are saying. We're not letting sponsors dictate the team selection. The only thing that's dictating the team selection is what David Moyes thinks is best for the team. That's how I see it anyway. Anyway, we'll be back later this evening with our preview to the Leicester game. We'll be building up to the Leicester game on the channel today and tomorrow as well. If you've enjoyed this video, drop a like on it. Obviously, just to be... I'm sure you have noticed, but just to clarify, there's obviously no adverts in this video for obvious reasons or anything. But subscribe to the channel if you're new and all that, and I'll catch you in a bit.